Oh honey, grab your coffee, because this one's a full-blown fashion fiasco with royal sparkle and Parisian shade. You won't believe what went down behind the glittering doors of Paris Fashion Week. Meghan Markle, the Duchess turned Hollywood dreamer, thought she'd conquered it all. Movies, monarchy, media, but the runway? Oh, that catwalk just turned into her coldest rejection yet. Picture it, Paris, the city that breathes couture, champagne, and scandal. Meghan, once the world's darling, had her eyes set on the holy grail of fashion, Balenciaga, the brand of rebellion, of edge, of unapologetic style. She wanted in, not just as a guest, but as a collaborator, maybe even strutting that iconic runway. But when she came knocking, let's just say Balenciaga didn't even peek through the peephole. The whisper among insiders? Not in this lifetime. Ouch! Imagine thinking your royal past could unlock every velvet rope only to find one of the biggest fashion houses in the world quietly closing the door and locking it. Balenciaga, the brand that thrives on pushing boundaries, apparently drew the line at Meghan Markle. Why? Because, according to those in the know, the sparkle's gone. The it girl aura has faded. She's everywhere, but somehow nowhere. Overexposed, underwhelming. The woman who once captivated global sympathy now finds herself struggling to get a seat in rooms that once begged for her presence. And let's be real, Meghan's been desperate for a comeback. Netflix, a flop, Spotify, even worse. That Archetypes podcast, gone like last season's handbag. Insiders whispered that executives found her, well, difficult. Hard to please, one allegedly said. Every detail, every word, she wanted control. So she needed a new chapter, a new identity. Something glossy, global, and glamorous. What better than high fashion, right? Wrong. Because darling, fashion never forgets. And Balenciaga may love a scandal, but not this kind. Meghan's name doesn't just bring headlines anymore, it brings headaches. Too much drama, too much baggage, too many lawsuits and tell-alls. The royals have distanced themselves, Hollywood's cooled off, and even her die-hard fans, some are starting to quietly back away. You can't cry for privacy and then chase every flashing camera that comes your way. The contradictions are exhausting, and the industry's noticed. Sources from inside Balenciaga's creative team hinted, ever so delicately, that she just wasn't it. Too polished, too self-aware, too political, one insider reportedly said. Translation? She's not aspirational anymore. She's exhausting. And in a world where image is everything, that's fatal. Balenciaga wants mystery, edge, the kind of chaos that feels cool. Meghan's brand? Predictable, overscripted, the same speech, different dress. And Fashion Week insiders couldn't help but notice she wasn't there. Not in the front row, not in the after parties, not in the Instagram carousels. Rumors buzzed, she'd pitched herself to multiple designers hoping for a campaign or front row moment. But honey, no one bit. It's brutal. A few years ago, she was the embodiment of modern royal glamour. The fairy tale rebel. Now, she's the girl no one wants to sit with at lunch. The irony? Meghan has the look. Gorgeous, photogenic, naturally chic. Her story, a biracial actress who married a prince, fought the palace, and tried to redefine royalty, should be gold for fashion storytelling. But it's not, because fashion loves mystery, not manifestos. Elegance, not endless interviews about who wronged you. Even Balenciaga, the brand that once courted controversy like an art form, said no thanks. They want icons who inspire, not ones who constantly explain themselves. Her image isn't inspiring anymore. It's complicated. She's not shaping culture. She's reacting to it. That's the cold truth Meghan's facing. And when Balenciaga rejects you, the rest of the fashion world watches. It's not just a no, it's a silent exile. Not because you're not beautiful, but because associating with you is just risky. Her ties to royal drama and public feuds have turned her from muse to minefield. Now word is that her team is in panic mode, scrambling to pivot, floating new projects, maybe even a docuseries to reclaim her narrative. But each failed comeback chips away at her once golden brand. Hollywood's patience for reinvention runs out fast, especially when the storyline never changes. And the silence from Balenciaga? Oh, it spoke volumes. No statement, no denial, just nothing. In fashion, that's worse than rejection. That's indifference. And in this world, indifference is deadly. Once upon a time, her name could crash websites and sell out covers. Now, it barely makes a ripple. Her once rebellious fame feels tired. She's rewriting the same script, the misunderstood Duchess versus the cruel establishment. But the audience isn't buying the sequel. They've seen it before. They've And in fashion, darling, when your story's out of season, you're out. Let's be real. Meghan Markle isn't chasing fashion for the love of art or fabric. No, darling, she's chasing power. The access, the whispers, the brand collaborations that scream, I'm still relevant. Paris Fashion Week wasn't just about couture for her. It was her next big move, the grand re-entry, the look who's back moment. But instead of applause, she got a polite shrug from the very brand she wanted to impress. And that's when it really hit her. In fashion, your name can open doors or quietly close them forever. The insiders were buzzing. Apparently, Meghan had been working the phones, trying to secure a partnership or even a simple walk with Balenciaga. You know, just a casual stroll down the most iconic runway on Earth. But according to those who were there, the brand didn't even entertain the idea. It wasn't a debate, it was a hard pass. Why? Because they saw right through it. Balenciaga's creative team, known for their razor-sharp instincts and love of authenticity, didn't buy her pitch for a second. They didn't see an artistic collaboration. They saw a PR play. Meghan, they said, wanted the logo, not the legacy. Oof! That one stings. And they weren't wrong. For someone who constantly preaches independence and authenticity, Meghan has been laser-focused on aligning herself with the world's most exclusive names. To her, luxury equals legitimacy. She craves the status, the whisper of exclusivity, the image of belonging to that elite circle again, the private fittings, the VIP treatment, the couture invitations that say, you're in the club again. But Balenciaga didn't see passion. They saw performance. They weren't rejecting her style, they were rejecting her story. The difference between being fashionable and being relevant? Substance. Meghan has the first, but she's running out of the second. Every outfit, every photo op, every polished speech feels rehearsed. Every gesture screams brand strategy. And in fashion, darling, desperation smells stronger than Chanel No. 5. The insiders say Balenciaga wanted nothing to do with it. She's not inspiring. She's marketing, one source whispered. They didn't want a spokesperson, they wanted a muse. And that's the thing. The truly great fashion icons, Audrey Hepburn, Princess Diana, Rihanna, they don't chase culture, they create it. Meghan, for all her ambition, keeps running after the spotlight instead of letting it find her. One insider spilled that she even wanted creative input on how she'd be presented. Approval rights, final say, everything. Now, let's remember, Balenciaga isn't exactly a brand that likes sharing control. They're bold, bizarre, rebellious, the artists of controversy. But Meghan, she's the queen of control. Everything around her brand must be polished, pre-approved, and filtered through the Meghan Markle lens. That's not collaboration, that's micromanagement. And for Balenciaga, that's a nightmare. They didn't want another joint vision. They wanted freedom, article, chaos. What they got instead was a woman known for calculated image moves. A brand in herself, yes, but one that feels manufactured. And let's not forget her latest rebrand attempt, the whole quiet luxury aesthetic. Oh yes, she's been trying. The crisp white blouses, the structured blazers, the monochrome neutrals, every outfit screaming refined elegance. The minimalism is immaculate. But here's the tea. It's not evolution, it's strategy. She's curating herself like a Pinterest board she hopes the fashion elite will repost. But the top houses, they can smell strategy a mile away. They know when a woman's becoming and when she's performing becoming. And the verdict? Meghan's not evolving. She's campaigning. Her team's entire approach screams, see? I'm luxury now, I'm chic, I'm calm. But behind the camera, it's the same race for validation. Balenciaga didn't want to be part of that storyline. Because to them, she wasn't a muse, she was a marketer. A walking PR campaign disguised as a fashion icon. And that's where it all falls apart. Fashion isn't about perfection. It's about risk. It's about letting go. But Meghan's problem? She never lets go. Every move is calculated. Every smile is measured. Every headline managed. She wants the crown, but also the camera. The mystery, but also the message. And you can't have both. Rihanna, for example, unpredictable, raw, real. She doesn't chase fashion. Fashion chases her. Meghan, she's chasing everyone else's approval. That's not style. That's strategy fatigue. And it's catching up. Even her supporters, the loyal few who defended her against tabloids and critics, are starting to admit the obvious. She's overexposed. Every time she steps out, it feels like a sales pitch. Every photo looks like an ad for her next reinvention. It's not elegant, it's exhausting. Balenciaga, for their part, didn't even need to issue a statement. Their silence was their statement. The coldest no is the one that doesn't need to be said. They just moved on. And in this industry, when a major house moves on from you, others follow, quietly, efficiently, like dominoes falling in couture slow motion. Because once a brand is seen as risky, the others don't want to touch it. And that's where Meghan is now. Beautiful, famous, ambitious, but radioactive. Her brand, the one she worked so hard to build, is cracking. It's not about her fashion choices or even her projects anymore. It's about trust. The big players don't want to be the next story she reclaims in a Netflix special or podcast tell-all. They've seen the pattern: praise, partnership, fallout, and then cue the misunderstood woman narrative. Again and again. Balenciaga wasn't going to be her next redemption arc, and you can't even blame them. They're in the business of fashion, not feelings. They don't need PR rehab. They need icons who elevate, not complicate. In the end, Meghan's approach backfired. Her obsession with image, with curating, controlling, and commanding every narrative, made her predictable. And in fashion, predictable is death. Balenciaga saw through it. They didn't see authenticity, they saw agenda. They didn't see elegance, they saw effort. And no matter how expensive your wardrobe, you can't fake effortless. So now Meghan's dream of walking in Paris remains just that, a dream. But knowing her, oh, she won't stop. She'll pivot again, maybe Chanel next, or Dior. She'll find another door to knock on, another brand to charm, another reinvention to chase. That's what she does. Reinvention is her sport. But here's the real question. Does the world still care enough to watch? Because fame is like fashion. Once you're out of season, the industry doesn't wait. It just replaces you. Still, you almost have to admire her. Meghan's ambition burns bright, maybe too bright, but ambition alone can't buy authenticity. It can't replace that effortless magic the true icons have, the kind you can't fake, filter, or strategize. So when Balenciaga said, "Not in this lifetime," it wasn't just about a fashion show. It was about where she stands in the world she's trying so hard to re-enter. A world that prizes originality, not reinvention on repeat. Because in the end, Meghan Markle didn't get rejected for her looks or talent. She got rejected because the fashion world saw what she couldn't hide, the need to be seen. And darling, in Paris, neediness is never in style. So yes, Balenciaga saw right through her. They didn't see a muse, they saw a marketer, they didn't see a visionary, they saw a woman chasing headlines, not haute couture. And in the end, that's the one thing no brand, not even one as daring as Balenciaga, wants strutting down their runway. Because in the kingdom of high fashion, power isn't worn, it's earned. And Meghan, she's still learning that the hard way.